Plane tickets, gasoline, groceries. Inflation has hit the U.S. hard.
Wholesale prices were also up 6% in January compared to the same time last year.
Pricing a product can be very daunting at first. Now, every company goes through it, whether you're a big Fortune 500 company, or whether you're a small startup company. If you're a small business and a small startup, this is very important how to figure out pricing. But I'm going to break it down into 3 basic principles that you need to know. Now, these principles applies to no matter what business size they are. It just could get more complex in each steps. The 3 basic principles are, number 1, what are your competitors charging for the exact same product that you're trying to sell? Number 2, what are the variable costs for your product? And number 3, what is the fixed cost for your business? And I'll go into details for every one of these. Going rate. So what is the going rate for the product you're trying to sell? Now that's not that hard to find out. You could just Google it, and you should probably know who your competitors are. This is the space that you're getting into. You should know your competition that's selling this product. Amazon, you can also do a quick search on Amazon. Amazon actually has a very good revenue calculator for you if you're trying to sell on Amazon. It's free to the public, and I'll talk about it more later. What are the variable costs for your product? Now there's plenty of ways to break this down. As you can see here from the spreadsheet that I made, this is kind of some of the categories that I break this down to. So when it comes to these variable costs, the first one is what is the cost of the goods, right? So what does it cost to make this? If you're making this yourself, add up all the ingredients, what does it cost to make one product? Production time. A lot of people forget to put in production time. You got to put in your production time, right? Especially when you go talking to wholesalers and people that will manufacture some of this sorts, sometimes they'll tell you what the production time is and what the cost for that is. For me, I know the production cost for soap is generally between 70 cents to $2, depending on how complex I'm trying to get the manufacturer to make it. We're making it ourselves at first until we get this right and to make sure that the consumer likes this product before we go to the manufacturer. But I know that's how much the manufacturers are charging us. Shipping and Amazon. Why did I put this category together? Now the reason I put this category because it's very important. It's very similar, to tell you the truth. When it comes to shipping, it's usually by weight, right? Amazon will tell you right now that their shipping cost is usually 60 to 70% of what it was for you to do yourself, which is true. But Amazon also charges a fee, right? So below is going to be a link to the Amazon revenue calculator. This thing is an amazing tool. What it asks you to do is ask you to look up an existing product on Amazon. So you want to find the product, one of your competitors on there, and then they'll price it out and they'll break down the fees and costs of it. That should be the amount of fee that you're expected to pay. Now it's very important to pick a product very similar to yours because Amazon's fee and stuff are calculated based on size and weight and things like that. So you want to pick something similar to yours. So another reason is why I lumped shipping and Amazon together, because eventually I want to sell on Amazon. You should consider selling on Amazon because even though their fees and stuff may be high, you're going to sell a ton of volumes if your sales could take off on Amazon. And a lot of people now use Amazon to validate products. So if you advertise your product, they're going to go on Amazon and try to search for it. So that kind of validates that your website is legit as well. So for shipping costs, I lump Amazon in there because the future I am planning to sell on Amazon. I have to be profitable on Amazon. And Amazon is kind of like the mob, right? They don't take kindly to you selling more expensive on their website than on your website. So whatever price you're figuring out for your website, it has to be the same price as Amazon or higher. If you undercut Amazon because you decided to mess around with shipping or something or charge it differently, they're going to ban you from Amazon. And Amazon is such a big company that you're not going to get able to talk to a representative, right? You can't go in there and explain, well, we charging shipping separately. They're not going to listen to that. It's just a program that goes out there and starts searching the web. If they see it, they're just going to ban it. So something to consider when you're pricing out your products. Consider Amazon as well if that's what you're ever going to do. Now, you could do this later on. If you want to sell on Amazon, you can increase the price. It's much harder, though, to increase the price of a product than to decrease the price. Packaging. Why is packaging important? When it comes to shipping, weight is everything. It is king. If you could save a few ounces, that could bring down the shipping cost. So packaging is very important. You need to determine how you package your product. Now, what I source my packaging supply from, and what I'm going to be continuing to do, is Uline. Uline has some amazing product. They're the cheapest you could get, right? Yes, you have to buy in bulk, but they are the cheapest price out there. So when it comes to CAC, customer acquisition cost, I factor in 25%. Now, I did 25% per product. This varies depending on what you want to do this at, right? I could tell you right now, when it comes to advertising and things like that, Advertising doesn't care about your percentage or your profit margins, nothing like that. All it cares about is just the dollar amount, right? If you're selling a product for $20 and you set aside $5 for advertisement, that $5 is going to go the exact same distance as if your product is $300 and you put $5 aside. What matter more important is how much of a wiggle room, how much money can you spend an ad. I chose 25% because 25% is essentially what I want to put in advertising. 25% is also a good number because that's the percentage of discounts I'm planning to give, right? So during sales and things like that, whether through influencer and affiliate marketing, I'm planning to run the 25% number. So if someone wants to use this affiliate link, they get 25% off. During Black Friday, I want to do a 25% sale. I want to bake this into the cost, right? Just so that, yes, if I'm not doing that sale, I'll make more per profit. But if I am, even if I give that discount, I still make the profit that I need to make. What's very important about variable costs, and a lot of entrepreneurs forget about this, and I've done this mistakes in the past, is you don't bake in your profit, right? You under evaluate the cost of your product. You want to bake enough of a percentage that you could actually make money off the product. You know, I hear a lot of entrepreneurs saying when it comes to e-commerce, they're breaking 5% profit. 5% is not a lot of profit. I like to stay within the 20-25% profit range because this gives you room to play around with it. So when you're using this calculator, you want to make sure that you bake in enough profit for yourself. Give yourself some room. And then as your company is growing, these costs will change. As you scale up, some of these costs should go down or they should go up, but that gives you room to play. Many startups company and many entrepreneurs, they try to sell a product, but they don't do this step. If you're not profitable, then find another product or find a way to make yourself more profitable. So the example that we have is when we're making soap. When I go through this spreadsheet, we are not making that much profit per 1 bar of soap. It's actually very hard and it's kind of expensive. But what we found out is to get the profit margin higher, we could bundle the product for a cheaper price, right? Because one of our biggest variable costs is shipping. Shipping is huge. For example, soap, if we bake in the shipping cost, which costs us anywhere from $6 to $9 depending on where you're located in the United States, that makes 1 bar of soap super expensive if we're including free shipping for that in. So for that 1 bar of soap, we may have to charge you a $5 shipping, things like that. But how we make it up for our end is if we bundle it together. If somebody buys like 2 or 3 bars of soap at a time, we could give that free shipping, right? So make sure you bake in your profit because it's very important that you do. You want a profit margin. Now, as you develop your business and you start, getting other costs down, things like that based on volume, that profit's gonna go up. But that profit percentage also gives you room to play around with things, right? Whether it's advertisement, whether cost of goods go up all of a sudden, right? The material that it costs to buy something gets harder to source and it becomes more expensive. You have that wiggle room to play with, and that's very important. If you calculate all this and you kind of get your total cost, see if you're in line with what others are selling this product for, right? Trying to figure out what the competitors and try to come up to their competitor's price. Don't do that. That's a lose-lose situation. The race to the bottom when it comes to pricing, nobody wins. Your competitors on Amazon are pricing super cheap because they're able to do it. Some of your competitors are actually going below the cost of what it costs them to make it, right? They don't mind losing money. Their strategy may be to just be ranked number 1 on the page or again the first page of Amazon when someone searches for a product. They don't care about losing money at first because they want to build up their review and get the star rating where they become a bestseller or pretty high up there. So that some people, then when people are buying, it's like, oh, you know what, they're a little more expensive, but we'll buy them because they have better reviews. That's what some of these guys are doing. They're willing to lose money on some of these products because that's part of their advertisement. That's part of their CAC, right? Their customer acquisition costs, and they factor it in. So when you build your product, don't try to race to the bottom because if you undercut them, they're going to go back and undercut you, right? You don't want to do that. You want to sell based on your story and your product, right? You want to speak for yourself and you want to sell based on the story. Don't try to go to the bottom. You're going to lose. You don't have to be the lowest, like I said, but you have to be somewhere close to them, or you have to have something that's a lot better than them that you can sell to them, that people are willing to spend a little bit extra for your product. Now, like I said, if you can't come up with a way to get this cost, then you need to figure out a way to lower the cost. If not, this may not be the right product. This may not be doable. You may not be able to get it cheap enough. But I'm sure you could. You just got to figure out how to do it. All right. Then when it comes to fixed cost is something that the price doesn't change regardless of how many products you sell. So fixed costs, we're thinking of things like your LLC fee, your annual fee that you got to pay, right? Storage, insurance, things like that. Having an accountant or whatever it is. These are all fixed costs. This is something you should determine. A lot of people don't try to determine this and they don't go through these steps, and then they're trying to work themselves backwards, but you need to plan all this ahead of time so that you could price your product correctly. This is a simple way to price your product. This is what we use in pharma when we're trying to price drug. Now, granted, even though we go through these 3 categories, each category is massive in itself, and there's multiple departments putting input in certain line items in these categories, but the process is the same regardless when you're pricing things out. Pricing and marketing is hard, and people make careers out of this, right? So don't get afraid. These are the 3 simple overall steps to doing this.